Good and beautiful morning. Happy Independence Day. Um, we have no choice. We just have to continue to pray for our dear country, and in our own little way, we try to see what we can put right. This morning, I woke up with a lot of things on my mind, and one of the things that caught my fancy was something I saw yesterday. And there's a particular lady I used to know that she's into drugs. Yes, she uses some substance. I used to see her around where I go to relax sometimes. And along the line, the owner of the place have to ask her to step aside because she was looking so emaciated. She was looking so depressed, so aggressive to customers, and a lot of things. And it was confirmed that she's actually into drugs. So this morning, I woke up and said, let me talk about this drug abuse among our youth, because it was one of those things that is really breaking our society. In the nearest future, we likely will have a lot of people on the streets that are not mentally fit, especially the young ones who are supposed to be productive, and that is what drug does. Drug takes away your productive life. Whoever takes drugs, that person will lose a productive life. And we have most of our youths on drug. We have most of our youths on drug, and this is reducing the manpower and the loss to the society is something you cannot measure. Is immeasurable. So first of all, let me talk about some of the drugs that are in town that are being abused. You know, Number one of them now is Purumiri. They call it Purumiri. I don't know if the pronunciation is correct, Purumiri. But Purumiri also works like a trank. Trank is a drug that is used in the U.S. It's so common in the U.S. It makes people behave like a zombie. Behave like a zombie-like behavior. You can stand in one place, like standing and sleeping, walking and feeling drowsy, walking and sleeping. The way zombies behaves in movies, and this is real. And that drug is now in Nigeria. Yes, I watched a video and I saw a guy that was hooked on that, and I said, this is the same characteristic with Trank. So Boromir is like that, and Trank is like that. So, but there's one that is so common now. You find it being used in clubs. They call it balloon. Balloon. I think the balloon. What they do is they fill the balloon. They fill balloon with nitrous oxide. That's nitrous oxide. They also call it laughing gas. Yes, they call it laughing gas, and that is so common in parties and in clubs these days. So if you go to highbrow area, you see people, holding balloon, releasing the gas, and you think they are just blowing balloon or they are just playing with balloon. It's drug. Yes, they're actually taking drug. And the most common one we all know again is cocaine. They call it coke, they call it crack. Cocaine. That's also, it has its effects. And then there's this methamphetamine. Methamphetamine. Some of these things are actually drugs that are used to correct some things, but they abuse it. Just like this drug. I mean, this cough medicine. They later have to ban this. I can't remember the name now. This drug, this cough medicine, benzoline, and so on. And people use it. They mix it with coke and they take it. It makes them drowsy. They sleep for days. They feel so relaxed. And all these things has its effects. We'll talk about the effect. Let me mention another one. Another one is hallucinogen. Yeah, hallucinogen. Like those who take it feel, when somebody is hallucinating, you are dreaming, you are thinking, your level of thinking your level of understanding, your level of reasoning is not in this world at all. There's also Bola, Bola, those ones that you see, Ebola is a heap of dustbin. So people dig it. When you dig that thing, when you dig, you see people, you see smoke coming out, and people inhale it, and these are dangerous. All these are dangerous. There's also dopamine or dopamine. I don't know the real pronunciation. And there's also heroin. All those drugs are what is circulating in our society, and it's not just in the society. It's at the primary sector of the society. The primary, even in secondary school, and it's so bad that even in public primary schools, you see you see these drugs are being abused, and it's common among secondary school students. Honestly, it's so bad. It's so bad, and some of the effects of these things are, it brings a kind of highness and loss of consciousness. That is one of the effects. It's so terrible. This is making us to lose our youths. They cannot, get education right. They cannot concentrate in learning jobs. They cannot be useful to themselves and the society. And we have a lot of them between the ages of 15, the ages of 15 to some of them take it to adult life. So they are mostly useless at their prime age. So how does that benefit the society? And some of these drugs also causes a seizure. Causes seizure. You know, brings about seizure. There's this zombie-like behavior, especially with trunk and impulmonary, like I mentioned earlier. Another negative aspect of taking drug is hyperactive and restlessness. You know, there's also the heart problem. That is even the worst. With time, they begin to have heart issues. They begin to slow down. You wonder why people are having a heart problem. You know, all these things are as a result of drugs. Then the worst of it is the mental illness. It affects them mentally. It's it has sent a lot of people to the popular place you call Yaba left, the psychiatric hospitals, Arrow in Abeokuta, Yaba left in Yaba, and so on. You have a lot of people there. When you go there, you see the kind of people who are there. You wonder, you marvel. I once uh, I once passes through that area, including Yaba left and Arrow. Arrow is in somewhere in Abeokuta, you know, Arrow. So that place is a terrible place. You see young and vibrant people, boys, girls, men, women, high on drug, and you wonder you know, what makes these people to go into this. These drugs also causes high blood pressure. Yes, it causes high blood pressure. Drug is something that is very, very dangerous. We must look for ways to discourage it in our society. Whenever you see, first of all, we must focus on our children. We try to see their behavior, is erratic. When you see that your child's behavior is becoming erratic, you have to take action. You have to sit that child down, you know, examine what is happening to the child. Even in the boarding houses, they take drug, they smuggle it in, when they are coming in for resumption. And most of these things, you know, have taken the life of so many youth and have rendered so many youth so useless. I think we have to do something about it. We keep saying no to drugs. Do all you can, to say no to drug. If you see it being used anywhere, try to call on the agency. The NDLA of recent, they are really trying. They are really really trying. You know, they are on the road now. They are on the road. Creating checkpoints, checking youth for drugs. But as much as they try, these youth also try to beat them too. Around my area, somewhere around Badagry Expressway, around Agbara, where you have the custom checkpoints and so on, you also have the NDLA there. Yes, the NDLA are there. They try to stop vehicle. They stop by guys on bike. They stop the commercial vehicle, look for boys, check them, and most of the time they find drugs on them. So what they do now is they try to beat those agencies too. Sometimes they give it to drivers to put under their seats. So many ways they try to beat the agencies. So many drugs abuse in town. So many drugs that if I even want to list it, And some of these drugs are not actually, you know, some of them are, I mean, some of them are actually drugs that are, you know, that you can buy across the counter, like cough syrups, for example. You can buy it across the counter, but it's being abused. Even paracetamol, even the ordinary Maggi, Ajinomoto, they abuse it. They abuse it. They use all forms of, even a pawpaw leaf. You know, I even forgot to make mention of cannabis, marijuana, Igbo. You know, they call it a way or like different names. That one is even so common, and that one even has different brands. You have the worry one. So it's not a laughing matter anyway, but we just have to take it so serious. Please, let's take the issue of drugs so serious. Let's see how we can help our youth, how we can talk against it. Anywhere you have opportunity to talk, where you have the youth, try to make them see the the effects. The effect is so negative. It's so terrible. So terrible. So happy Independence Day once more. Have a nice day. Let me to see what I can do for myself. Thank you and God bless.